Peace and blessings, power people. This is Tama Aziz Serwa. I am the visionary and the pioneer of the womb sauna. Today, I want to talk about my journey into motherhood. Entering into motherhood, as well as where I am with my mothering today. If you've been following my movement from the beginning, then you know that I am the first testimony of my work. If you are new here, then you know that something about the conversation around motherhood has pulled you in. And for me, that's not a coincidence. It is divine alignment. Let me just give you the context of why this is important. I know what it's like to question your femininity because your womb holds a unique rhythm of cycling. Even when I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, in my 20s, by the way, and doctors told me that I was infertile. I went through 7 reproductive endocrinologists. The last one looked at my medical file for like 30 seconds and said, if you ever want to be a mother, find out if your insurance covers in vitro fertilization. And I remember sitting in the office and being polarized by that. And I asked him, why do you say that? And he basically looked me in my eye and said, because you're hairy. As in I have hair on my arms, legs, whatever. Something activated in me in that moment that overrided everything he just said to me. And I remember walking out of that office like, they don't know me or my God. And that set me on my own personal quest to discover how I wanted to create what happened next. I first decided what I was going to create. I was so bold about my faith around it. Every year for 8 years, I bought myself Mother's Day cards. I remember when I finally was pregnant with my daughter and I was nesting, going through all the drawers, making space for her in our home, and finding that drawer of cards. I had an altar dedicated to my children. My partner at that time, him and I would consecrate and write letters to. And I had friends who were standing with me. Who you surround yourself with during these times is very important. And I had friends who were literally buying gifts. My daughter was spoiled before she was even conceived. I tell you, that girl had little dresses and all kinds of things. And we would sit and we would summon her spirit and we would connect with the call of parenting spiritually so that it could reach the physical reality. There is a woman listening to this. You found this video for a reason. I teach women every day how to heal everything, how to tap into your power, embody it, and bring it into your real life. That is the core of my work. So my daughter is 8 years old. I remember when I discovered I was pregnant. So there's a process. I call it the initiation into motherhood. I did all of the detoxing. I did all of the, lifestyle changes. I had to go through a divorce. There was some relationship-induced infertility. I was misaligned. So I went through my divorce, called in a new partner, and all of that. It was a whole process because I knew that part of my assignment was to bring in my child at a certain vibration. I know that I am ushering in new generational patterns in my bloodline. So as much as I had hoped in my 20s that I would manifest pregnancy and becoming a mother, I had manifested mothering, But at that time in my life, I didn't understand the initiation into motherhood, that there were layers of awareness and identity changes I needed to make and ancestral work that I needed to do. And so that took time to unpack to get to the vibration that matched the assignment of my daughter. And so I hand walk women when they come to the womb sauna and they tell me, we go over their health profile and what their health goals are. And when it includes becoming a mother, I explain to them what that rite of passage looks like. And I help them identify any blind spots. So sometimes women stop at just detoxing their body. Some women stop at just assuming they are a vibrational match. You may like your man, but your womb may not, and that happens. And you can't trick the universe because it speaks the language of vibration. So there are times where you think everything is aligned and the way is open, but the door ain't open. And it's not denial. It's an invitation to align differently. It's an invitation to become wiser and more masterful about how you manifest and how you alchemize, how you create the next moment in your life. So back to my testimony of becoming a mother. I went through like the spiritual work, all these different layers of evolution to prepare for the vibration of my daughter. Matter of fact, 2 years before I conceived her, she was speaking not just to me, but everybody involved. My daddy, my mama, his parents. It was just fascinating. And I remember calling my mom one night to tell her about a dream I had, which was when Zariel introduced to me her name. And she said, wait a minute, because she had the same exact dream that night. As I was sitting by a tree, she turned and looked at me and told me her name, and I could see how it was spelled. And I looked up the meaning, and in Hebrew it means God is my rock. But then in other texts, Zariel means the version of Lilith that became an angelic midwife to the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve after she released her rage. And it's interesting because Zariel represents the perfect blend of light and darkness. And it was the blend of me and her father's light and darkness and our decision to override that with love that brought her in. She is a true love child, birthed, conceived in love. So anyway, I remember the day that I felt really like all over the place. I used to do these Sunday morning womb healing calls, and that particular morning I felt like I was experiencing every emotion at the same time. It was really strange. I felt really like overwhelmed emotionally. So after I got off the call, because typically I would feel energized and really good. So I got off that call, and by this point in my motherhood initiation, I was completely surrendered. Like, if it happens, great, but I'm not forcing anything. So take a note and make a note of this. There's a difference between moving powerfully and forcefully. So at this stage, I'm not forcing anything. My child will decide when it's time for her to come. We've already decided that we are welcoming her. So I go to my altar and I pull out my pendulum, and I'm sitting at my altar just trying to figure out, like, why do I feel all over the place emotionally? What's going on with me? Am I okay? I'm asking my pendulum, am I good? And it's like, yeah, you're good. And I'm like, why do I feel so off? And something in my instinct said, ask your pendulum if you're pregnant. I asked my pendulum, am I pregnant? And it's giving me like a hell yes. And I said, wait a minute. So I go in the bathroom, I take the pregnancy test. Then I go back in my office and I forget to go check the results of the pregnancy test. And you know how you do something and you just step away and you lose your train of thought. I go back in the bathroom. I said, wait a minute, 2 lines. So I'm digging in the trash to get the instructions out. You got to realize I have been manifesting my daughter for 8 years. I'm so used to taking pregnancy tests, getting negative results. So for me, I'm just, I'm not really that attached to it because this is something I've had to do frequently. And I look at the test. I said, 2 lines says pregnant. I look at the pregnancy test. I said, oh my God, this moment is now here. It has manifested. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, whoa. And there were all of these signs and signals. I remember that time I was getting my level 2 Reiki attunement. My daughter was attuned to Reiki in the womb. I was 4 weeks pregnant in that attunement and didn't even know. But I remember in the meditation that there was this angelic being that took me like to the top of a mountain, walking on the water. And everywhere in the world where this spirit took me, there was a baby tied to my back. And what I didn't know at that time in that meditation and attunement to level 2, I was 4 weeks pregnant in that attunement. So I'm sharing my story because number one, I got pregnant in my 30s. I was like a decade later than my plan. There's somebody listening that may be experiencing anxiety because of your age. Maybe doctors have said that you can't. But I need you to know that your body obeys your consciousness. When I made up my mind that I am mother and I started doing things in preparation for and as if it was already decided, it's already done, I put my body in that frequency. So here I am 8 years later with my beautiful daughter Zariel. When I announced to the marketplace that I was pregnant, the entire world celebrated. Till this day, we receive gifts from China, Germany, all over the world. I don't know who these people are, but because of the impact of my work and being a global influencer, people were celebrating. She is so loved. She is truly a village child. She launched her business at 5. She's received awards for her work in the community for entrepreneurship. She's already written a book. Like, she is Tamer 3.0 for sure. Queen Zariel is how she has branded herself. And recently, it's funny because she's like ready to birth 2 to 3 other additional businesses. And I'm like, whoa, okay. She's truly activated in her creative power. But Za was not the only child that I saw. I've always wanted 3 children. And I have always felt fertile since deciding that I am. So imagine me having this incredible testimony, being 40 years old as of last year. And I'm wondering where my other children are. Yesterday, I did a womb meditation. And just like Zariel, my son, speaks to me in dreams and through my oracle. I have a specific oracle who has a soul contract with the children that come out of my womb. She prophesies them. And yesterday I was just tapping in because every time I ovulate, I feel this big rush of energy. It's very bright. It's very profound. My lover be like, "Whoa, girl, we about to put a baby in the spiral." Like, it's very, like, it's even loud with my friends. It's like everybody can sniff this fertile energy on me right now. And when I choose not to conceive and my cycle comes in, I have lately been feeling some grief with each bleed because it is a signal that I have not brought in any other children. So I said it's time for me to get back into some womb magic and womb tuning in and talk to my womb about how she feels about my choices and how I'm moving. with my fertility. Because your interactions with your body and what you choose to do with it is a very intimate exchange. You have a relationship with your body. Your body is never trying to work against you. The body does everything it can to survive. The hardest thing for the body to do is die and be sick. The body is always keeping score and trying to be in deep, intimate connection with you. So I do this one meditation yesterday, and I hear my son very clearly. It had been a while since I had. And his message says, Mom, because I do a lot of teaching about what's happening with this generation of men and women and love and relationships. And I told the spirit of my son, I will not bring a man on this planet unless your father is the kind of man I want you to be. So if you are interested in being here in this time, you need to participate in summoning the father I will accept. My son said to me last night, Mom, I am going to be formed in your power, in your body. You literally will make me. You will take my spirit, you will merge it with your flesh and my father's flesh, and you will shape me and mold me and birth me. So I need you to embrace more of your power, because I am going to be born in your power and because of your power. And you can have an awareness of these things, but to hear it, to feel it, to be in these deeply sacred spiritual spaces with your children before they even get here. My relationship with my children starts before they're even born. It reminds me of Jeremiah 29, I believe it is, where God says, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. There is an existence that occurs before we put on this flesh. We are mind, body, and spirit. So, yes, it felt so good, and that's what kind of inspired this conversation. I know what it's like for the women who are summoning their children, and you're in the process of manifesting becoming a mother or having more children. I know once you get past 37 what the doctors tell you, and I'm not saying that they're incorrect. There are physiological patterns that they're tracking and all of that. But at the end of every day, your body belongs to you and obeys you, and your life belongs to you and obeys you. I teach women how to ground themselves in the process, how to access all of the necessary information to feel confident about your decisions. I am not a holistic practitioner that tries to take you away from reproductive support services or any of that, but I will educate you well enough to know how to properly advocate for yourself and vet and qualify who you include in your journey of manifesting your child. I do believe in an integrative health approach, but I am not going to ever tell clients that what these lab results and what doctors say can override what God may be telling them in their spirit. I'm going to help you sort through it all so you can get to the desired outcome you want, which is to become a mother. And it is work. If you go to my website and you read the testimonials, you will hear women say, Tamar loves you, but she makes you face the things that are interfering with what you desire. That is my anointing. I teach women to heal everything. Why? So that you even have the capacity to receive the lifestyle you're envisioning. Are you the size container for the blessings you're asking for? You're asking God to be a mother. You're asking for these babies. Are you ready? And who is a sacred witness in your life to help you know if you're truly ready and see if you have any blind spots? That's why people work with me for years, by the way. That's why there's usually a 30 to 60 day wait to even get on my schedule, because women, once they come into the womb sauna experience and see what it does for their entire life, they're like, I need this as part of my routine self-care. I am inviting you, if this message has blessed you, resonated with you, to do two things, please. Like, share, comment. Tell me that you were the person that needed to hear this, so I'll know why I felt so compelled to record this message. And then also book an appointment. If you know you need some healing, if you know you've been having challenges with trying to become a mother and figuring out what's really going on and what all your options are, I can help you, and you need me, or you wouldn't be listening to this right now. Go to thewombsauna.com and you will see a button that says I need healing. Click on that and it will take you to how to create your appointment and get on my calendar so we can pop this squat and start this journey together. Okay. And if there's a woman that you know who needs this message, please share it with her. Just click that share link and say, sis, I heard this. I think it'll be a blessing to you. Tune in, tell me what you think. I know that there are brothers who follow my movement and support it as well. So if you know women who need the womb sauna in their life because you're witnessing them struggle with their identity, their self-concept, they're struggling with embodiment of their power, and they need me. And I appreciate the support that you provide and connecting them to me. All right, that's all I got, because I will stay here in this energy and just chat with y'all all day, but I do have other things I needed to do, but I really just felt strongly compelled to share with you my journey with going from infertility to mother. And if it could happen for me, if I'm in your orbit, it can happen for you. Trust yourself in the process and trust God. I love you. Peace.